Hi guys, it's Mark from Newbie Prepping. So what's been going on? Firstly is keep you up to date with stuff that's going on. So as you probably heard in the news that there's been an hotel in Tenerife which has been locked down in quarantine. So it's spreading, and obviously Italy is still getting worse. Iran. There was a first case today in Brazil, I believe it was, and obviously all the school kids what went to Italy skiing have come home, and it's been a bit of a miscommunication, I believe. Obviously, first of all, they was told by the school to go home and self-quarantine. Then government officials have said to them, no, unless they're showing symptoms, they can go back to school. Now, this is a prepping channel, so let's not get into if they're right or wrong. So, but here's the articles. It's debatable, and everyone's got their own opinion, and we should really leave it at that. Obviously from previous videos you know how my view is, but I'm not in power, so that's that. But let's see about what we can do and other information. So let's get back to how we can prepare. We can prepare because we've got time, which is a good thing. So how do we prepare? So you already saw from one of the earlier videos that you're spending £5 and you got about 20 days of food. Start doing that. I'm not saying we would have this the same sort of lockdowns as there's been around the world, but you don't know. So I've got a bit of a croaky voice. It's quite late now. But if Italy's put towns on self-quarantine and locked them down, the UK would, let's be honest, it probably will. So if you want to get ahead of the curve, don't panic. It's the worst thing to do. Go out, extra £5 worth of shop. If you don't want to go out, order online, and just get your precautionary stuff. So hand sanitizer, keep your distance from other people. If you're got a bit of a flu, cold, obviously they say if you're going to sneeze it into a tissue, bin it, wash your hands regularly. These are the standard things from what the government's saying. But let's look at once the quarantine's here, because if it's, as I said, if it's happened in Italy, it could well happen here. So stock up on your food and tin stuff, pastas, even your frozen food. Each week get £5 extra, £10 extra if you can afford it. You don't need to go out and massively buy everything. It's not worth it. Because if we get a handle of it and it doesn't spread, your cupboard's full of food, and you're not going to have to do shopping for ages, but you're going to have the stuff in advance. Obviously, if you do have to go out, you can always look at buying one of the masks. Now I've got a couple gas masks and just ordinary masks which just go over your face, over your mouth and nose. And I think you can buy the N95, I believe it is. I think I'll put a link up there from eBay, and they're about £8, £9, £10. It's easy for me to say don't go overboard, but people will, unfortunately, and they're going to buy 100 of them. You're probably not going to need 100. If you're going to be quarantined in your house, you're in the house. You're going to be a lot safer in your house than going out. And if you do go out, wear your mask if you really need to. Once the quarantine's here, if you're allowed out, they might say that just like in China, only go out if you really need to, and eventually it might be only go out every 1 or 2 days. So that's that side. So the food what you should get is stuff what would last. Obviously, because we're still going to have electric and power, as you've seen in China, they still had electric and power. So you can buy frozen foods. You can buy your nicer stuff. Just buy like an extra packet, extra 2 packets, £5 extra, as I keep saying. And you should build up enough stock to last you and keep you more comfortable if it happens and we get locked down over here. So I'll give you another link, and that's to the government official website for the coronavirus. And again, it just gives you the basic what the virus is. And now, Rich did find an interesting little video, and the link will appear now. And that shows you how the virus, when it started, how it started, and it shows you the development and how many people it infected over the short period of time, because a couple of months, in China, and of course around the world. And it gives you a bit more information about it. So it was quite a nice little video. I wouldn't say nice really, but it was a good video to watch to learn a bit more about it. Because that's the thing, you need to know, it's an old phrase, know your enemy's faults. So if you know what the virus would do, then you can prepare for it a lot easier. Doing this video, I've been nipping backwards and forward to the PC to get the latest information, and I've just seen Northern Ireland now as a case. It was someone coming back from Tenerife, and they flew via Dublin. So obviously they're going to be doing their investigations into who else has been in contact, and hopefully contain that spread. But that could be Southern Ireland, because you come through Dublin, there's going to be people in Southern Ireland what potentially could have caught the virus. Again, it's always reactive instead of proactive, but you all know my view on the World Health Authority and not classing this as a pandemic and getting air travel stopped, because that would have prevented a lot of this. Yes, it would have cost a lot of money. Businesses would have to take it on the chin, because basically they're thinking about their pockets and how much is a life worth. There are loads of elderly in all countries, but I digress, and we need to prepare for the future. With the first case now, it's become a lot more serious for Northern Ireland, obviously. Hopefully we can contain it, and our medical services and hospitals do a grand job anyway, but hopefully we're able to track down everyone who's been in contact and make sure that they either notify 111 to if they get any symptoms, and contain this. Not much really more to say about that one, but if we have a Discord channel, if you want to see any latest news what we get, the link will be, the thing will be flying around now, and the link will be below. And obviously, if you find these videos helpful, give us a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. And you've seen this cheerful face and hear me rant off. But let's get ready for this now. If it goes like Italy, the population of Northern Ireland is less than London. So I think there's like 6 million people over here, and we are spread out. loads of little small towns, and so we need to prepare. Obviously, for those who are in a better situation where you don't need to go out, I would say stay in as much as possible. Get some antibacterial spray, so as post comes, your like food bags, if you're doing your online shopping, give it a spray, and sanitizer. And if you go out, I already said this before, but if you go out, you know, try and keep your distance as much as possible. Anything you touch, don't touch your face, eyes, mouth, and obviously nose. If you go around looking for gold up your nose, or if you've got that itch. So it is getting a lot more serious now, but we always knew it would end up this way. If you've been watching the channel, I was hoping that it wouldn't get this way, but it finally has, and it's a case of either riding it all out and being prepared for the next step.
Hey there, I bet you didn't expect to see me. Just jumping in at the end of the video here. There's a few things that I want to say and go over as well. Mark sent me an article here from the 27th of February. At the moment it's the 29th of February at 12:30, half past midnight. Title of the article, as you can see up here, I'll just get out of the way for it. Schools could be closed for 8 weeks and sporting fixtures such as the FA Cup, Grand National and London Marathon postponed, and a new emergency plan to contain coronavirus as 3 new cases in 1 day are confirmed in Britain. So obviously that's a pretty big deal, the fact that they're even considering stopping big sporting events as well. So one of the things I wanted to bring up was a few frequently stated fallacies. Frequently stated fallacies, FSF, FSFs, if you will. See, I call them fallacies because they're things that people commonly say about the virus that just don't make any sense to me whatsoever. And in my opinion, they're very ill-informed, and you're not really thinking about the bigger picture if you honestly believe any of these things. Again, I just want to preface all of this by saying 2 things. One, we've only ever advocated on this channel for basic hygiene vigilance. Basically, making like Mark just said before I came on the camera, making sure you're washing your hands, you got your antibacterial gel, and you're catching your sneezes, stuff like that. We have never ever said that we're going to go into full-on panic mode. We've never advised anyone to go into full-on panic mode. With that said, I'm going to say all of this now. So the first FSF, frequently stated fallacy, that I'm going to say is people like to say it only affects old people and people with underlying health conditions and people with weak immune systems. So, what, as if that's okay? So, oh, it's okay, I'm a healthy person, I can get infected and I'll be absolutely fine, it's all good. The amount of people that have recovered from the coronavirus is way higher than the people that have actually died, so I don't give a damn about it whatsoever. I don't care if I actually contract the virus and I spread it around, because I'll be fine. What about all the sick people that you come in contact with, or you come in contact with someone else and then they get it from you and then they give it to someone who is sick? It's people who are healthy that I hear say this all the time, and I've had a lot of conversations with sick people, people with underlying health conditions, and they are all super worried about it. So what does that tell you? I mean, what is this, healthy people privilege or something? Is that what we're going to call it now? Because that's kind of what it's sounding like. Oh, I'm super healthy, so I don't care. I don't care if I contract this virus. I don't care if it gets around. Can we not think of the sick people? Like, my dad has COPD, a respiratory problem. I know people with asthma, even something as like common as asthma, people like that would get affected very easily by this virus. We need to stop the spread by doing what we keep advising and basic hygiene in order to save these people, essentially. So frequently stated fallacy number 2 is whenever people say, oh, it's just like the flu. Oh, don't panic about it. It's just the flu. It's just the flu. Coronavirus has existed for ages. Well, one, we've never said to panic about it. We've only advised on ways to stop the spread of it. And 2, we've never said that coronavirus hadn't existed before this. The flu has claimed its fair share of deaths. I think annually it gets like 600,000 deaths or something like that. So I think that when people say, oh, it's just like the flu, what they're trying to say is, oh, you don't go around saying that the flu is super dangerous all the time, so why are you focusing on the coronavirus? It's like, well, there's treatments for the flu, for one, and another thing is that the coronavirus has a much higher R0 rate, which is a rate of infection. That's something you would have learned if you watched our part 1, well, vlog 13, I believe it's called. So yeah, it's a much higher rate of infection, and from what we've seen, articles all around the world, which we've posted proof of everywhere in all of our videos, screen captures, and links in the description. It's literally getting all around the world. It's basically a pandemic at this point. It's just that the media don't want to call it that to cause mass hysteria. Although at this point, if the media said it was a pandemic, I'm sure that more people would say, oh no, it's not, they're blowing it out of proportion, more than actually get worried about the damn thing. See, I'm not trying to act all pompous and like be like, oh, I told you so, I told you this would get worse. Do you think I want it? Do you think I want it to get worse? Do you think that I'm actively hoping that it gets worse so that I can say that I was prepared for it and you should have been prepared and I'm better than you because I actually did prepare for it? No, literally no one is saying that. And when people say, oh, the media's blown it out of proportion, they're just reporting on stuff that is actually happening. It honestly feels as though people are seeing, the more and more that they see the coronavirus spreading, they're like, the more and more they want to bury their head deeper into the sand. It's like, no, the fact that it's getting worse obviously means that it's just being blown more and more out of proportion. I mean, again, I just want to say, I hope it is all blown out of proportion. It would be lovely if there would be no more deaths. I think we're at 2,000 now. Yes, we've had more recoveries. I've got to keep saying that just in case people think that I'm misrepresenting or overblowing it or trying to cause mass hysteria or whatever. But yeah, it would be nice if it just stopped right there and everything would be fine and everyone that you know and everyone that I know would be absolutely fine from it. And honestly, you could say to us, Newbie Prepping, Rich and Mark, you took it way too seriously. Like, you shouldn't have been making those videos, you shouldn't have been saying stuff like that, trying to worry people. Like, how dare you silly people. I would hold my hands up and say, well, fair enough, it didn't go quite as badly as we were worried about, but we are very happy about that too. But you know who I would be thinking of? I wouldn't be thinking of me or my reputation. I would be thinking of the 2,000 people that did die and the families that were affected by the coronavirus. I wouldn't be thinking about saying I told you so, or I don't know, bleating about how they knew it wasn't going to turn into anything anyway. There is one thing that's not exactly a frequently stated fallacy, but it is something that I was discussing it with someone online who shall remain nameless, and basically I think that they were trying to trip me up, and they asked me, well, has anyone actually died in the UK yet? Has anyone actually contracted it from anywhere in the UK? Well, no, it's true, you got me there. You got me there, didn't you? Yeah, no one has actually died yet in the UK, and they didn't contract it in the UK either. It was from overseas, and then they were confirmed to have the case once they were back here. I mean, ignoring the fact that they came into contact with people on the way, from where they set off from to here, and then go into whatever hospital they were coming in contact with people. Like, ignoring that for the moment, you know, the whole transference of virus thing. There's an article here about someone who has actually contracted the virus in Surrey, and they haven't been to anywhere, like they haven't been on holiday to anywhere that's confirmed to have the virus. So there's our first reported case of someone who has contracted the virus in the UK completely organically from here. So there we go. I guess you didn't really get me there. So yeah. Sorry, I'm being a bit of a dickhead now, but and I don't mean to be. I don't know. It's just so many people try and talk to me as if like, "Ha, I got you." So I don't know. It's sad that this person has contracted the virus, but at the same time, it allows me to make this point: is just because there's not a problem now doesn't mean that there won't be a problem in the future. Like, people seem to be saying like, "Oh no, there's only 3 people who have cases in the UK. Oh, that's like 0.000000001 of the population." Well, that could change in the future. Who can tell the future? I wish I could tell the future, and that I could tell you that it was all going to be okay. But unfortunately, I can't do that. So what me and Mark have always stated, and I'm going to end my little bit here by saying this again, all we've ever advocated for is the preparation of something going bad. If it doesn't go bad, then perfect. Lovely. Wouldn't be happier. Fantastic. But what is the harm in preparing in case it does go bad? And to do that, that involves basic hygiene vigilance. And that's literally all we're saying to do. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's incredibly obvious, but I just want to say this outright. We're not claiming to be experts. We're not claiming to be experts of viruses or viral outbreaks or anything like that. But we are keeping up with, on a daily basis, people who are viral experts, are experts with viruses. And you see all the time people who are trying to debunk how dangerous this virus can be. They're always saying, do the research. Oh, just do the research. You're just susceptible to all the lies. You should do the research. We're doing the research literally every day. And it's way worse than like what all the naysayers are saying. So yeah, no, believe it or not, we're not experts. But we have been researching an awful lot, as you can tell by all of the links, like I said before, that are down below in the description, and all of the things, the articles that come up in the side here. Okay, so anyway, that was my rant about some of the frequently stated fallacies that I keep saying. Hope that becomes a new turn of phrase there, because I don't know, I think that's pretty good. So anyway, I'm going to hand it back over to Mark for the outro.
That's it for me tonight, I think. As I find more stuff, the general links will be below of the normal websites, what we normally recommend you to follow. And have a good night. I'll hopefully see you in the next couple of days with another video. And as I said, we're hopefully going to be doing a camp next week. Not next week, next month. And there's a few of us hopefully going. And get back onto more lighter entertainment and enjoyment stuff. Right, it's good night, and be safe out there and be careful. Good night.